So. Hello, everyone. I think we will start in a few minutes. We will just wait if there will come some more attendees. Yeah.
Du gibst mir noch die Maus weiter. Okay, schön. Achso, wir warten ja.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Two more attendees joined us, so we will start. My name is Melanie Troppe from the Research Mobility Institute FTM from Graz. And I will be the host for today's webinar about the topic building up furniture in public space with involvement of children. It is part of the Metamorphosis project, and our today's presenters are Katia de Gennaro and Angelica Butcher, sorry for that, from Merano. If you do have any questions, you can use the chat. Just ask the question there and we will try to answer them at the end of our session. Don't be shy. And now I hand over to our presenters. Hello.
Hello. Hello, everybody. My name is Katia de Gennaro, and together with my colleague Angelica Butcher, sitting next to me, I work for Metamorphosis, a European Union-funded project started in 2017 that will end this year in May. In short, Metamorphosis is on transforming neighborhoods with a focus on children. The project aims to modify and readapt neighborhoods through a child-friendly approach to city and sustainable mobility and planning. Metamorphosis transforms car-oriented neighborhoods into child-friendly neighborhoods, achieving behavioral change and increasing the quality of life. That's at least what we think. Metamorphosis starts from the premise that if a neighborhood has many children in its public spaces, this is a major indicator that it is well designed as a sustainable neighborhood. The word sustainability itself is already inseparably combined with children, as it implicates designed for future next generation. Another focus is on social cohesion. We think that neighborhood transformations can help strengthen communities. 7 European cities are participating in the Metamorphosis project. These cities are scientifically supported by university and research centers. And one of these cities is Merano, from where we are speaking to you today. Located in the bilingual northern Italian province of South Tyrol, Südtirol in German and Alto Adige in Italian, Merano is known as a garden city in the heart of the Alps. It has a centuries-old tradition as a health resort, and this is thanks to its favorable position and climate. Although still very popular among tourists, thanks to its Mediterranean vegetation, etc., Merano is facing several challenges with respect to environmental and traffic issues. Some of them, like air pollution and noise exposure, are mainly related to the effects of urban traffic and public space management. Especially with respect to public space design, there are mental barriers that discourage adults and kids from occupying this public space and from claiming the right to do so. Often public spaces in cities are believed to belong to transportation or to be reserved for official events. So what Metamorphosis Meran tries to do is opening minds to the existing variety of options as far as public space management is concerned. Now I hand over to Angelika.
Hello, also from my side. I would like to give you a short overview on how the webinar is structured. If there are urgent questions which are linked to a specific topic, we will answer them immediately. Otherwise, there will be time for discussion at the end of the webinar. So I will shortly introduce why involving children in the co-production of public space, and then give you also an insight into two projects we have developed during these 2.5 years. What does it mean to turn a construction site in public space into a learning and meeting point? So we asked ourselves, how do children see and observe the world, and which point of view do they have? What do they need? One important aim is to take children and their desires and visions seriously, and to take them into account when we speak about transformations of our and their public space. Kids should not be seen as consumers. They should rather be considered as partners in designing our and their environment. So Metamorphosis can set a starting point for this. But actually, in these months, we also think about how these moments can help to create a long-term challenge. Co-designing public space with children helps us to analyze these spaces and to reclaim them for ourselves. Public spaces in our cities are getting more and more privatized and driven by private interests. So in the workshops with the children, we also discuss what role public space has and to whom the space belongs. It is a space where different desires, wishes and needs of people coexist. Public space is a shared space, and we should take this into account when we use, meet and shape also these spaces. So co-designing a public space with children therefore helps to achieve more consciousness for the kids and for us about the function of these spaces. If children are involved in designing and building their public furniture, they create a different relationship with the place and the object. So therefore, the responsibility for this common space increases, and their behavior in this space does change. For our projects in Merano, we defined the following strategy and method. First of all, we define the needs in relation to the neighborhood, together with residents and our local partners. And we think around the questions, what potentials does the neighborhood have?
Sorry for my short interruption, but I think you need to share the slides. And if you could turn on the chat. Yeah.
Okay, because you cannot see the slides.
No, very sorry.
That's not good. Oh, that's super.
How can we do that?
Let's show. Maybe. I think this screen is.
Just go to share screen. Yeah.
No, the other one. The other one.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh, so you couldn't see any of our images.
Beautiful slides. What a shame. Neue Freigabe.
No, it's always the double one. How, do you see now two screen, like two PowerPoints or?
Yes.
Two. Oh, yeah, sure. This one.
This one.
Okay.
Yeah?
Is it okay now?
Yeah, thank you.
And also the chat we should activate.
Yes.
sorry, but where is it? No, mail, chat, but I don't know.
It's behind there.
We are supposed to see the PowerPoint slides at the moment. We only see the speakers. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Good. So now, yeah. So for our projects in Merano, we defined the following strategy and method. First of all, we defined the needs in relation to the neighborhood, together with residents and our local partners. And we thought about the questions, what potentials does the neighborhood have? What is already there? What is missing? And where do the children play and meet? Who are relevant actors in the neighborhood? The analysis and exploration of the neighborhood helps us to define its potentials and issues, to collect information and create a network for the further steps. So opinion, views, expertise and ideas and visions are exchanged in a larger group with adults as well as with kids. The instrument and the way of analysis and explorations are adapted to the particular context and include workshops as well as site visits in the neighborhood. In this step, the first artifacts, drawing, photos and videos are produced as documentation. So in the next step, we analyze the information gathered in this first step, and we go through the collected data and discuss them in smaller groups. And then in this phase, we also define the general goals, work on the implementation plan, and choose the partners we want to involve in the realization of the project in the neighborhood. The next two steps, they include the implementation, so the placemaking with the children in collaboration with the adults, and the public presentation of the results. So our strategy is not a top-down strategy, but the opposite. It's much more a process-oriented teamwork, because we need to understand together what a particular place and neighborhood does require. Now I would like to explain you in a more detailed way our first example. And this first example is the skate ramp in the Obermais neighborhood. Let me say first some words about where we are and about Obermais and the Brunnenplatz. The Brunnenplatz is the main square of Obermais. On Brunnenplatz we realized the skate ramp. And Brunnenplatz and Obermais is an upper class neighborhood of Merano, quite close to the old town. The square, you can say, is the heart of the neighborhood. There are shops as well as cafes, restaurants, public schools, a community center, a youth center and the post office. But what is missing on Brunnenplatz, also it's a public space, but what is missing there is the public space. So the place, this public space, so the space where to meet and where also to play in the open air. Let me show you first now a short video which does tell in detail a bit about the project.
Siamo in piazza Fontana al centro del quartiere di Mai Alta, piazza del quartiere che soffre del fatto che i cittadini spesso lasciano lì la loro macchina. Il polo è anche uno spazio riservato ai pedoni e a causa del fatto che ci sono le macchine è diventato uno spazio di transito e non una vera e propria piazza. Metamorphosis dunque ha accolto la proposta del comitato di quartiere di trovare una soluzione, di costruire una soluzione insieme a tutti quelli che usufruiscono la piazza. E dunque si è fatto un workshop al quale hanno partecipato i ragazzi della scuola limitrofe, hanno partecipato i contadini che una volta alla settimana vengono qui per un mercato, hanno partecipato i commercianti della strada vicina e anche qualche rappresentante dei tassisti del comune. I bambini che hanno partecipato a questo workshop volevano costruire una rampa. Per loro c'era da tanti anni questo grande desiderio di avere una rampa skate e dunque i partecipanti di questo workshop hanno deciso di costruire questa rampa.
Dank dem EU-Projekt Metamorphosis, dank der Gemeinde Meran, die das heute ermöglicht hat, dank den Jugendlichen und dank ganz vielen anderen, die uns unterstützt haben und geholfen, die Rampe aufzubauen. Anlass dieses Workshops ist eigentlich im Grunde öffentliche Plätze der Bevölkerung und den Kindern, Jugendlichen, den Erwachsenen zurückzugeben oder zurückzuerobern, anstatt das wild gepackt wird, das wilde Packen oder das wilde Luftfahren zu unterbinden.
Wir finden die Rampe super und wir finden es toll, dass von allen Altersklassen, Kinder und Jugendliche an der Rampe viel Spaß haben. Und es ist einfach unter den Jugendlichen herrscht einfach eine Verbindung und das zeigen die großen, den kleinen Tricks und ist einfach super. Es ist immer also wir kommen alle miteinander gut aus, ob jetzt klein und groß.
È molto importante che ci siano degli spazi pubblici all'aperto dove anche i ragazzi possono sostare e passare il loro tempo libero, perché non ci siamo solo noi adulti con le nostre esigenze di mobilità, ma ci sono anche loro che vogliono godere dell'aria aperta che abbiamo qui a Merano. Quindi hanno bisogno di spazi come questo in Piazza Fontana dove poter stare con i loro amici.
So together with the children and teenagers and in close collaboration with the youth center, we built this skate ramp on the public square. The square became a public construction site for more than 1 week. The idea had been born a few months before in a vision building workshop with adults and children. So in this workshop, it had turned out that having a skate ramp in the neighborhood was something the kids and teenagers had always desired. All stakeholders of the square had been invited to the vision building workshop, and very different needs and requirements had been expressed. So the farmers met the taxi drivers, the business owners, the youth workers, the neighborhood council, the teenagers, and so on. The workshop had made clear the conflicts between the different positions. Participants became aware that this became aware of this, and ended up downsizing or adapting their expectations and desires. And this was the first step of reimagining this particular shared public space. Everyone had different ideas regarding a new and temporary function of the public square, but in the end, all of them supported the idea of the skate ramp, with only really one tough opponent. And he was the bar owner on the square, because he argued that the skaters are so loud that no one wants to drink anymore a coffee on his tables placed on the square. So usually the cars of parking offenders occupy the square. With our installations on the square, we try to understand if, despite the ramp, which immediately had become an important playing and meeting point, cars would still park widely around it. Yes, they did, unfortunately. But at the same time, the neighborhood, and especially the children and teenagers, became aware that Brunnenplatz offered a lot of different opportunities. So Brunnenplatz can be a place to meet. It is an important social space, and the place and the Brunnenplatz can also become an open-air playground. And that is and was a very important step and aim for us. A few weeks later, the neighborhood council placed a letter to the municipality with the request to change the design of this public square. For the construction of the skate ramp, we needed as many helping hands as possible. We also involved, sorry, we can go back. I have just a short video of the opening ceremony, but we will show it later. For the construction side of the skate, we needed as many helping hands as possible. And we involved also 2 young carpenters of a refugee center in Merano. And one of them contributed with an African dance during the official opening ceremony. So it was curious to observe the simultaneity of African rhythms, the cotton candy, the DJ, and the participation of the inhabitants of this high-class neighborhood. This integration of different cultures and generations in the public space has changed also the perception of this very particular space. And it was possible to assist simultaneously to expressions and rituals of different cultures. So for a moment, the image and perception of Brunnenplatz changed in a fundamental way. This was very, very nice for us. Finally, let me introduce to you the long-term and implementation process we worked out for the Vigilio's neighborhood. This neighborhood is characterized by a very mixed and international residential population. Mostly working class people live there together with old established residents who started their housing co-ops in the 70s. And today, next to these houses, there is also a refugee center. So the neighborhood is quite distant from the old town and city center of Merano. The Vigilplatz is not a public square with infrastructures. It's far from it. There is no public infrastructure except a shopping center. So the residential area has a lot of green surfaces, but most of them are private gardens with a lot of signs that indicate that it is forbidden to play ball and it is forbidden to step on the grass. So on the one hand side, on Vigilplatz, there is a lot of free space that is also well distributed, but on the other hand, this space is has not a social function for the community. So there is no real place to meet. There are only defined areas where the children can play with indication of certain hours of the day. So between 8 and 12 and 3 to 7 p.m. And on the same spot, also the dogs do their businesses. A very important partner for the implementation of the project in this neighborhood was the educational agency Fondazione Uppert for us. They organize services and projects for adults and children in different neighborhoods in Merano. What we did there, first of all, we organized a 3-day planning workshop with the children of the neighborhood. The children first observed and analyzed public space. They photographed it, they described it with drawings and guided us to their secret and favorite spaces in the neighborhood. We were quite surprised when they showed us the McDonald's restaurant on a busy road as one of their favorite space. It's far away from the green areas. But they told us that they like this space because there is a small playground and also a separate room with video games where they can play for free. In a further step, the children developed ideas on how to use public space in their neighborhood in a different way and how to transform them into places where they can meet and play. They thought a lot about infrastructures like a bike sharing point, new swings, trampolines, a pizzeria, and better signed cycle paths. We decided to work on 3 ideas and sketch them with cardboard models. First, a stage of events for events in public space. an oversized climbing structure, and a multifunctional mobile structure on wheels that bakes and sells pizza. But also at the same time is an exchange point for toys, a bicycle repair point, and can also become a stage. We explained these ideas to the representatives of the local council on the last day of the workshop, and also several times in neighborhood meetings. So together, in the next step, we decided to realize this multifunctional mobile furniture structure for this neighborhood. A company produced the metal structure of the tables and benches on wheels, and during an open-air painting shop, we realized the patterns for the wooden panels together with the kids. And during 2019, we used this mobile urban furniture structure for 3 different events. A toy exchange market, the co-creation of a Vigilio's wrap during a 1-week workshop. So this mobile furniture structure served as public space to sing and to exhibit. So, and then a knödel cooking session in open space. Knödel is a traditional dish of this region. Maybe let's go back first and then maybe let's go back. Okay. For the open air knödel party, we involved Anna Gamper. She lives in the district since the 70s and has today no more contact to the younger generation since the kids left the house. She had a lot of prejudices on the kids, which are today from different cultures and speak a lot of different languages. During the cooking section, it was incredible to see the respect the kids brought with them for Anna Gamper, and also in what a motherly and kind way Anna Gamper met the kids. There's also a short video, so you can see more the atmosphere of this knödel party. How the public space changed during this day. Okay. For the composition of the Vigilio's rap, we invited the musician and songwriter Matteo Iamonno and the theater expert Alessandra Podesta. For 1 week, during an open-air lab, we discussed together with the children what it means to be strong, what it means to be wise, and what it means to have courage. The public space of Vigilplatz was transformed through wood panels and tables into these categories, and the children built their instruments to fight against their fears and to be strong and wise. So, first of all, we discussed and shared stories together. And then in a second step, Matteo Iamonno wrote with the children together a very personal text about each participant, and they presented it in a final concert. So what it is interesting that their very personal stories shaped the public space, and their story and body became a protagonist for more than one moment. The neighborhood council repeated in various public occasions this Vigilio's rap. Together with the local network, the idea is now to use these mobile furniture structures in different spots and create opportunities of sharing, playing, meeting, and knowing each other step by step a little bit more. So already in the last year, the social cohesion in the neighborhood changed in a very significant way. Before I give the word back to my colleague Katja, I would like to end with a quote of architect and pedagogue Renate Stuffer. We have to deal with the anatomy, the function, and the metabolic processes of the city. The public space the public spaces are therefore a mirror image of the health status of our society. Thank you.
So before we share our lessons learned with you, I just wanted to say as well, something I forgot earlier. Members in the Merano Metamorphosis team has 2 more members. This is our project manager, Philip Klevan. He's an engineer, and Monica Carmen. She's an architect. So we are 4 members in this team. So we would like to share with you our lessons learned. And our first lesson learned is that in our workshops we saw that it is worth it to dedicate effort and time to listening to all opinions related to a specific situation or a specific place. Obviously, this requires, first of all, identifying all interests involved in this place, but getting in touch with the stakeholders and convincing them to contribute to the discussion may be very demanding, but it is absolutely necessary. Our second lesson learned is that any intervention that involves public authorities and services is very time consuming. So this has to be taken into account in the planning phase. At the same time, when you plan interventions in public space, having a hotline to political decision makers can be very helpful. Another lesson learned that was very important for me personally is that what seems unfeasible can be realized. This is especially true with respect to children's desires, because children can easily find a direct way to adults' hearts, especially their parents' hearts, and also because to be against children's needs and demands isn't socially well accepted. Something we learned with respect to the skate ramp in Obermais was that safety issues are not always easy to solve, and it requires some courage to perseverate and take risks. Daily life routines are hard to die, but they can be cracked if stakeholders are encouraged to share their opinions and experiences and to learn from each other. Residents are experts on specific places and their problems, but they are no experts when it comes to the solution of these problems. And last but not least, common and shared activities create social cohesion. So thank you for listening to this webinar, and if there are any questions, please use the chat box and we will be happy to answer the questions.
Thank you for this very nice presentation. We did get already 2 questions. So one question is about, is there some guideline on what is needed to work it out? So do you have any guideline, or did you use any guideline, or?
The recipe, we used a little recipe. No, we prepared these dumplings in the open space. We arranged sort of an open space kitchen. As you saw in the video, kids helped cutting all the ingredients, and then we cooked them in boiling water. Philip brought a gas fireplace, and we cooked them there. We boiled the knödels, and then we ate them on the spot. So I mean, that's just the knödel recipe, I think.
No, but it was also very important, this involvement of different generations. I think this was a crucial point, or also it was our aim to to find a setting or to plan a setting where it is possible that the older generations, so the people who live in the housing co-ops from the 70s, who are there since this neighborhood was born, and these people share some moments with the kids who are like first or second migration. So this was like a crucial point, also like how to bring with these different moments people together. And the street furniture, yes, maybe you cannot not see them but like we cooked, we used the street furniture for the Knödel party, for the Vigilio's wrap, for the toy exchange market. So in 2019, we planned different moments where we use the street furniture, but also give kind of inputs to the people, how they can, like to the neighborhood, how they can use it, like from now, like from 2020 onwards. So like these 3 moments, they have been like, let's say, like some inputs from our part.
And our project manager and engineer, Philip, just told me that we had the construction plans for the skate ramp and also for this mobile furniture, if anybody is interested. So Carl, maybe this was your question? No.
I already. So, and if we have planned to go further, let's see. It depends what is also the will of the municipality of Merano. If we go further and then do design plan. Sorry, we have just like there are some questions you mentioned at this time.
Well, the kids who participated in the Knödel party and in the rap, they attend meetings organized by UPAT. Angelika mentioned this agency before. They organize services and classes and activities for kids in several neighborhoods in Merano, and they were our main partner in the Vigilviertel, where we realized the rap and the Knödel party and so on. And these kids who attend the meetings organized by UPAT also participated in our activities because we organized them together with UPAT.
And where we store them, now it's stored like in the garage, but the plan, or also already in autumn, we made a test that sometimes for 1 or 2 weeks we place them in the neighborhood, and the people can use it, can also bring it from one spot to a next spot, and we will, like when it's getting a little bit warmer, we will go on with this experiment that this furniture will become part of the public space in the city, like in this neighborhood. And like how we measured this, that it built a stronger social cohesion in a very, like for us, not like in a crucial, like we had really a lot of feedbacks from the people who work there with the kids. And they told us that it's completely, like it completely changed the contact, but also how to get into relation with the kids, that they listen, like that they listen more to each other, that they also want to realize things in the neighborhood, that they are much more consciousness about the neighborhood, and that they are stronger together, and also the relationship between the adults and the children did changed in a very significant way. So yeah, this is like one of our feedback, and
but we asked this specific question to the manager of UPAT and also to the chairman of the neighborhood council, and they told us that the atmosphere in the neighborhood had changed, and especially the relationship in the children's group that attends the UPAT activities, for example.
For the logistical question, I'm wondering if people and residents from Merano, they speak both Italian
50-50.
and German.
50-50. It's 50-50. Exactly 50-50.
How is the cafe owner thinking now? I think he didn't change his opinion.
Oh, he's very happy we moved the wrap away. No, he didn't change his opinion.
He was like a hardcore opposition against the skate ramp.
Okay, I think we missed one question. Did you need permission from the municipality to intervene?
With the skate ramp?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And that was also maybe the thing that Katia mentioned before. So it was good, or like it was very helpful for us in Merano that like Metamorphosis, that the municipality of Metamorphosis, like the municipality of Merano, promoted the project Metamorphosis. So a lot of things had been possible also during these 2 years, 3 years. And the nice thing was also in Brunnenplatz, for example, that the police, like the police of the municipality, helped us a lot. That also the politicians really promoted the idea and also helped us to discuss with the people and with the neighborhood.
And the mayor came to the inauguration party and so on. So there was a lot of support by the political decision makers. So are there further questions? Did we miss any question?
I don't think so. So thank you a lot for this very interesting presentation and for the answering of the questions. I'm happy to promote that this webinar will be held in Italian as well right now, like in at 12 o'clock. Yes. If someone wants to listen to it again in Italian, you're welcome. I will show to you the upcoming events if you want to participate in any further webinars. So just let me screen the share. Okay. So.
So in the meanwhile, also from our part, thank you for listening, and you are welcome to visit Merano, and we can show you some neighborhoods and also projects we did there. Thank you very much.
Here you probably know the homepage at the Metamorphosis site, yeah, and here you can go to the webinars, and we have our next webinar already next week. It's on the 16th of January. It's about, oh, sorry, that's the one from today. It's about space transformers. It's on the 22nd of January at 2 p.m. In English, and you're welcome to join. And here you can check for further webinars. So there are already quite a lot on the homepage. So just have a look, and maybe we will see you at the next webinar. And thank you for this very good presentation. We're all very inspired now. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.